Hello, it's Dr. Bridget here with another prescription for success, and today I'm going to be talking about labelling negative emotions. Labelling negative emotions. So quite often we keep negative emotions to ourselves, don't we? We're very good at locking them away in the back of our mind or in a box somewhere, towards the past. So it's just be sitting there. So, that's locking stuff away, and actually it has consequences. But it's really interesting. I was reading an article the other day about how useful it is in terms of actual moving forward to label negative emotions. So they had about 160 people, all of who had a fear of spiders, and they had some tarantulas. I don't suppose they had 160 for those of you that have spider phobias. They may have just only had one, but anyway, they had people who had phobias of spiders. And what they did was they asked people to say how they were feeling about what specifically. And they had groups of four. They had 4 groups. So the first group says, I'm extremely scared. I'm really, really frightened of that big, hairy, sort of large-legged, horrible-looking, jumpy sort of spider. So that was the first group as they walked towards the spider. The second group said, reframed it really. So they were asked to say, oh, spiders are really important in the grand scale of things. And after all, spiders have families and they have some uses in terms of keeping flies down as they walked towards the spider. The third group just said something neutral. So I'm walking towards the spider in a cage. So no emotional, just a factual statement. And the fourth group didn't say anything at all. And they measured their sort of like amount they sweated and their pulse rate, and they scored them out of 10 on these. And the people that actually had a better result, were less scared of the spider, were the people that actually said they had that acute fear of that horrible spider. So really interesting, because if you acknowledge your fears, your sadness, whatever emotion you've got, and talk about it, then actually that does reduce the emotion down. And I know that in NLP training we talk a lot about reframing, and we give you various ways to reframe things, but also in the Master Practitioner we do something which is called a pain paradigm. And the concept of that is that people who have undiagnosed chronic pain for more than 6 weeks, it's usually because they're not paying attention to their negative emotions, so they haven't actually said how they feel about something, whatever that is. Not necessarily about the pain, but it's caused the pain because they're not acknowledging their negative emotions. Really interesting. And there's a technique that we use in Master Practice where we can actually ask people to say what they're feeling, and you'd be amazed at the amount that the pain goes down. So say from an 8 to a 0 just by asking those sort of questions. So really, really interesting stuff. So I just invite you to think about, have you got any negative emotions that you're not particularly talking about or acknowledging to yourself? And if you did, they'd probably start to feel a lot better. And of course, if they carry on, you can always get in touch, because there's loads of NLP techniques where we can just sort that out really, really quickly. But in the meantime, just acknowledge the pain, be honest about it, acknowledge the emotion, and it'll probably get a lot better. So I hope that's been helpful. That's me with another prescription for success, and I shall see you next week. Bye.